Are you okay?
Yeah.
Welcome, Caitlin. I don't know your last name.
Lastinger.
Your last name is Lastinger?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Welcome to Adultish Wines.
Thanks.
We have a lot to talk about. It's going to be dog. We're going to talk about a lot of dogs.
Dogs.
But while we were just sitting here waiting to start, you were talking about how you were a waitress at a strip club. And I think we need to start there, if you don't mind. And then we'll go into how we know each other. But let's just get into it. Let's loosen up.
Okay. So the fun stuff. Yeah, I was a waitress at a strip club for like, I don't know if it was 7 years or 9 years, but there was like a lot of like coming and going. Because obviously, like if you're a waitress at a strip club, it's not like you're the only person that can do that job. So I don't know if you knew that. So yeah, I was a waitress at a strip club. I worked like 3 days a week. I was making like 80 grand living with my parents. And I saw this blog one time and this guy was like, oh, I lived in Bali for $500 a month. And I was like, okay, I want to do this. And so I literally just saved up all my little monies.
All your big monies.
All my big monies. And I went and I traveled around the world for like a year at a time. I didn't come home. I just left with my backpack and just left. And I went to Europe, Asia, and Africa. I went for like, I guess 4 months to each, roughly. And then I came home and I was like, okay, now I'm going to get my shit together. And I was like, just kidding. I'm going to do it again. So then I saved for another year, went back to the men's club. Sorry, I don't know if I should have said their name. Whatever. Went back to the men's club and I was like, what's up? I'm here to make some more money. And it was like, oh my God, that's so cool. You traveled around the world. And I was like, you bitches make 1,000 more times than I do. Y'all could do the same thing, but y'all just want to,
spend your money on bitches.
Spend your money on bitches or like bags or, Bentleys, whatever. Yeah, they made a lot of money there. Anyway, so then I did it again. And the next time I went to like the Middle East and I don't even know. I've been basically everywhere. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you know from a young age, not that you wanted to work at a strip club, but that you wanted to travel the world?
That was my biggest dream, was to work at a strip club. I was like, my parents are going to be so proud.
Welcome to Adultish Wines Podcast, where we're grown enough to pay bills, but messy enough to still text our exes. Grab a glass of wine and let's get adultish.
No, it's funny because my stepdad's in oil and gas, and my mom went to live with him in Singapore when I was 21.
Okay.
And they were like, do you want to come with us? And I was like, no, I am dating the love of my life at 21 years old. Obviously, I'm going to stay for him.
Yeah, obviously.
And so I went to visit them and I was just like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool. Like just seeing like the world, like I went to Singapore and then they took me to Phuket in Thailand and I was like, this is so cool. And so I was 21, maybe like about to be 22 at that time. And then I just came home and I was like obsessed because like once you leave the United States, you're like, there's a whole world out there. And I was just like, this is so, so dope. And I just want to like learn everything and like see all these different cultures and like how different people interact. And so, yeah, I just had like the best time. And I did that for literally like, I think I started traveling when I was 25 and I think I finished when I was like 32. And like every trip was like a year or 6 to 8 months. And then I decided I wanted to go to college because everybody I met was like, oh, I went to uni. And I was like, I wonder if I can go to uni.
Oh, all the people out uni.
Yeah, they all went to uni. And I was like, I need to go to uni. So I went to uni when I was 27. So then I did like, like college semesters are from like January to like April.
Yeah.
And so then I traveled literally from like the last day of school to like one time my mom picked me up from the airport and I had just come home from New Zealand. And that was my first day at U of H. And it was like, it was January. It was like January 26th or something. My mom picked me up from the airport. I went straight to class off of like a 16-hour flight from New Zealand. My first class at University of Houston. And I was like, what's up, bitches?
At 32?
Yeah. No, I graduated in 2020. So I guess I would have been 31 or 32.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I don't want to say I'm jealous because I don't like when people say that, but like wish I have that in my resume.
Yeah.
Wish I have that life experience. I've traveled a couple places, but just seeing what other people do, that just makes you such a better person.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it definitely like changed my outlook on like so many things. Like just like understanding people, understanding cultures and, like languages, things like that. But I feel like nothing made me feel more empowered than like going somewhere and like not having a plan and not knowing the language and just being like, I have to rely on me
Whoa.
to like just make shit happen, you know? And like I never knew anybody wherever I went. Like I was just like, fuck it. And I went to hostels, met so many people. I was telling you earlier about my friend that I'm going to Chicago to go to his wedding. It's an Indian wedding. But like some of my best friends to this day are people that I met like on my travels. And it was just like by happenstance. Like this one girl that we have a lot in common. We were in Slovenia and we were in a hostel, and then I was wearing a Breckenridge shirt and she was like, oh, are you from Breckenridge? And I was like, is anybody from Breckenridge? And she was like, I mean, I lived in Colorado. And I was like, I mean, no, I'm not from Breckenridge. I'm from Texas. This was in 2016 or 2017. And she was like, well, I rented a car for the next 10 days. And like, I'm going to drive all around like Slovenia. Like, do you want to come with me? And I was like, sure. And we ended up having like the same taste in music. Our birthdays are like 3 days apart. And we just have like, we're like twin flames. And so she just came and visited me last year, like right after I bought my house. She came to Houston. Her initials are also CL. And so we've gone on a couple trips and we're like, we need to make like CL squared shirts with like, and like all our little, we're both into like
just a random interaction led you to that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel, you bought a house, do you feel like locked down now? Is that a weird feeling?
For sure. I feel like I also kind of struggle now with dating because like, I've met so many like interesting people, and I feel like people that have traveled have such a different mindset, and like that's just not the case for a lot of like American guys. And so I'm just like not interested. So I usually end up dating foreign guys.
Mm-hmm.
My friends make fun of me. They're like, if he has an accent and no American passport, I'm like, yeah, I know.
Oh.
It's unfortunate. It hasn't worked out. Don't recommend.
Damn.
What was your question though before that?
You feel locked down, like, because you like own a home.
Yeah. So now I see people like with all their cool travel pictures like on the apps and stuff like that. And I'm like I want to travel like once or twice a year, like 1 week or 2 week trips. But like after traveling for so long and like living out of a backpack for like, and like having to like find things at the bottom of my backpack and like repack every 3 days, I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of living the life of a Rolling Stone, and I'm so happy to have like my bed, my house, my dogs. Like it's just provides me so much comfort. And like people always like give me shit that I don't like leaving the house, and I'm like, bro, I left the house for a long time. Like, wow, I just want to chill. I just want to chill at home with my dogs, and just like I love my backyard. Like I love like enjoying like outside, and so So I don't really feel locked down. Thank you.
The whole thing, the whole traveling, but also just feeling really comfortable in like what you're doing now.
For sure. So yeah, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, damn, I used to just be able to like pick up and leave, you know? But like now, obviously I have dogs, so that's not possible, you know?
But you can still leave.
Yeah, but I can't leave for like a year or like 6 months at a time. No. And I would never want to leave my dogs for that either. So
no,
you know,
for sure.
It's just, it's different. It's funny though, because I feel like a lot of people that didn't know me super well are like, oh my God, Caitlin became like this crazy dog lady. And I'm like, if you go through my pictures from my travels, I have pictures of every dog that I met. And there's always like me petting a dog. And I remember when I was in Australia or New Zealand, like I was staying at an Airbnb with like a farm, and there was like all these dogs in kennels, and they all looked so fucked up. And I looked, and the next screenshot is like animal cruelty in New Zealand, like who I needed to talk to tell them like this is not okay. And that was before I had my own dog, you know?
Wow.
So it's always been in there. I just was traveling, so I didn't have my own dog. But yeah, no, I mean, I prefer this life, you know? Like obviously I'm so happy that I experienced that, but I love just like the comfort of my life now, you know?
I love that. Yeah. Before we get into all that, tell me one crazy thing that you witnessed being a waitress at a strip club. Just pick one.
Oh, God. I remember one time, so obviously the champagne room is like where money is made.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had I was the waitress.
They're having sex.
I mean, sometimes, yes. Sometimes. Okay. So I remember one time I was like waiting on a guy, and he was in the champagne room with a girl, and then his fucking wife showed up because we have to like pre-auth the card, and his wife showed up. She's like, I fucking know he's here, and we're like, oh my God. And then I'm like, bitch, you better not fuck with my money because I've been waiting on his annoying ass for an hour. Like, I don't want this to be ruined.
Could you actually wait until I get paid? Until you.
And can you also make sure he tips me 20%? Thanks. 25 for your annoyance. Yeah. So that was pretty crazy. I mean, I saw crazy shit like on the daily. There was always like crazy stuff.
Fun.
Yeah. And strippers are also crazy. Yeah.
I do feel like that's implied.
Yeah.
With like respect. With so much respect.
No, for sure. But
I do feel like
after going to therapy, like thinking back, I'm like, oh my God. A therapist would have a field day in this place with the customers and the strippers and the waitresses. We were all fucked up. But yeah, no, I was just telling my best friend, I was like, you couldn't pay me. Like, even if somebody was like, I'll give you $500,000 to go back and work there. Like, no.
Really? That's a lot of money.
No. It was so toxic. There was a lot of politics. It's like the sleep schedule. Like, it was this is so interesting that maybe if you love your new podcast life that you're about to do, you can come back and talk about it. Okay. I was so shell-shocked by that news that I didn't go into how we know each other. So I was on a Mexican vacation in Cabo. As one does. And I was scrolling through, as one does, in the pool with a margarita. Mm-hmm. And I had seen many posts about doggos needing a life, and they were about, sad or stranded or whatnot. I was with my friend Kiana, and I was like, I saw you posted that this dog, Flynn, that is what he was named, was about to be, that was his white name. That was his white name.
Yeah, we had to get rid of that so quick. He was about to be euthanized. It was a Thursday at 5 p.m. and he was going to be euthanized Friday at 1 if he was not saved by a foster something. So I looked into it because a person who I've had on this podcast before, Israel Rodriguez, an artist from Houston, he had shared your post. And I looked at it, and I said, I think this is my dog.
You just knew?
I just knew.
You saw those eyes?
And Kiana, my friend, said, it's like, she's like, I didn't know that you wanted a dog. And I said, I don't.
I didn't either.
I don't. And she's like, okay, well, interesting. Like, let's talk about this a little bit.
Put the marg in your hand?
Yeah, like maybe slow down a bit, you know? And I sent the post to my friends and my sisters, and I was like, I think this is my dog. And my sister said the same thing. They were like, well, first of all, you've never said that you wanted a dog. So this must be your dog because you've never said that.
Okay.
But why do you want this dog? And I was like, he's so perfect. He's so cute. He has to be mine. I don't know why I'm thinking this. So Caitlin is the volunteer who took a video, spent her time volunteering at Bark Shelter to post Pedro, who is about to be euthanized. So that is our connection. A year and a half or so later.
It was my birthday weekend. So Memorial Day weekend of 2024.
May of 2024.
Yeah. I think it was May 24th, 2024.
Yes. So I go through the process, or I DM'd her, and I was like, hey, has he been saved yet? Yeah. And you had said like, no, not yet. And then I was like, okay, like I think I'm really going to do it, And I remember being like, did we talk on the phone briefly? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, I've never done this before. And I think I was like, because I am always just myself and honest. I was like, hey, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about.
Yeah. You were like on the fence. And you were also out of town, which is so funny because we get people like hitting us up all the time. We're like, oh, I live in Wisconsin. Can you send that dog to me? Or like, I live in Houston, but like, I am not free till like next Wednesday. And we're like, who's going to fucking hold the dog for you? Because we're not holding the dog. Yeah. We don't trust you.
Right.
And that was kind of a similar situation. You were like, yeah, I'll be home in a couple days. And I was like, okay. And you're like, I also am not 100% sure if I want this dog. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I'll just leave it alone. We'll just see what. And you followed up.
Yeah.
When people follow up a lot, then you're like, okay, bitch.
But you had said to me, you had said, listen, you're on vacation in Mexico. You're unsure. Because I had said, like, I also have a podcast I do it at my home. Like, I'm not sure.
You're like, is he barky?
Does he bark?
Like, girl, I fucking met him.
Which, like, what a stupid question. But, like, he didn't, I don't know. He just didn't look like he does. And by the way, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But anyway. And you were like, listen, like, why don't you go? I think he's really been shared viral. Like, I think he's going to be saved. Yeah. So why don't you enjoy your vacation and don't worry about it kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I got off the phone with you and I was like,
You're like, I'm not going to take your advice.
no, I don't want anyone else to have him. He's mine. So, and then I messaged you back and then went through the application process. I mean, the rest of the days of my trip were like messaging with you, filling out the application, and my friend Kiana was just so lovely. She's actually his godmom because
love that.
she was there at his, bringing life to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got off the plane and went to pick him up because he got fixed.
Yeah.
And stayed the night with another foster because I was out of town, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, you brought me the love of my life, and I'm so happy and grateful. And I've just been following you and Steph, Cottage Foster Dogs, and just kind of in the background, if you will. Just like being sad and like, oh my gosh, I wish we could do more. Like, what's going on in this world? Why is this the case? And obviously falling in love with every dog that gets posted. And so I said to myself that once I moved into a bigger place that I would try and start fostering, and I've tried it and I love it, even though it is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it has become such a big part of my life that's why I wanted to have you on to just talk through in more detail, first of all, why you started volunteering, how you got into it. We're going to go through the emotional toll of it all, the difference between fostering and rescuing, and the difference between rescues and shelters and all that. So let's just kind of get into it. How did you start volunteering or in dog rescue?
They started at 2 separate times.
Okay.
I started fostering before I started volunteering. So maybe the time is coming for you. Maybe not. But yeah, I saw this dog. I'm trying to think of my first foster. Oh, okay. I saw this. Okay, my dad had German Shepherds growing up. So this is also something I wanted to talk about is doing your research on breeds before you get them. Because I feel like a lot of people get dogs based on how they look, not based on their temperament. So I was obsessed with German Shepherds. That stopped very quickly after I started fostering them.
They're so crazy, high energy.
Very high energy. They need a lot, things like that. Anyway, so my first foster attacked my personal dog. Yeah, it was super crazy, but I was like, it's fine. We'll be fine. Anyway, so then my second foster was a puppy. It was a German Shepherd puppy. And I was like, oh my God, this is even worse. Like puppies are just so much. So I saw a post on Facebook and it was like, oh, this dog's been tied up to a tree for a year. And I was like, oh my God, that's so awful. Like I'll take her. But she hadn't been socialized and I didn't understand socialization or resource guarding or any of that stuff at the time. So I just, put them together. And then she was resource guarding me, which means like she saw me as her main resource and she attacked my dog because he was like coming close to me, which people probably have seen. You just don't know what to call it, Yeah. So yeah, I saw some posts and then I just kept seeing more posts. And then there was another post of this black dog and it was like, he had like really pretty brown eyes and it was like, are you going to let me die today? And I was like, no. Not on my watch.
Yeah.
So I drove my ass all the way to Harris County Pets, which is even further than Bark. And this was like a work day. And I was like, I have this dog. And I shelter fostered him. You know now that, so it was like the equivalent of Bark fostering. And he was heartworm positive. I didn't know anything. I had no idea.
You were on a whim.
I was on a whim. And then my next dog was a pregnant dog. Yeah, it was just, I didn't know she was pregnant. I had no idea. She was on the youth list. She was pregnant.
You were just going in, not as a volunteer. You were going in just fostering dogs and paying, like supporting this dog with your own wallet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So then I think I found the page, which is Houston Volunteers for Shelter Pets. And it's a Bark page. And I think I also
Bark
found
is a shelter out here in
the animal
Houston.
shelter in Houston.
BARC.
And then I found Madeline's page. Shout out Madeline, you ruined my life. Thank you. Mad to the rescue. She was posting a lot of dogs from Bark. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to, get more involved. And then I felt guilty, just like the only thing I was doing was sharing. And it's so funny. She had so much patience because I would hit her up and be like, hey, I can foster that dog for 3 days. And she was like, thanks. Thanks. I'll let you know. Yeah. And like now, like being on the other side of it, if someone hits me up and they're like, I can foster for 3 days, I'm like, thank you for wasting my time. even though
but they don't know.
They don't know, which I understand. But like at the time, I didn't know either. And then now, it just depends on the rescue. Like obviously sometimes it's like for like a rescue like RPM, you can foster for 3 days, but it's like there's just so much to it that it's hard. But yeah, or like Bark About It could be 2 weeks to 4 weeks, or, like a foster to adoption could be a year. It just depends on the rescue, the dog, the situation. So yeah, social media is how I got into fostering. And that's also how I got into volunteering at Bark for dogs on the euthanasia list.
Specifically,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to get into, if you're confused at all about any of the names that we said, we're going to kind of give in more detail about Bark About It and Mad to the Rescue and Bark Shelter, all in a minute. But these are all either shelters or rescues that Caitlin has worked with, and now I've started to work with. We're actually wearing both Bark About It in our rescue era.
Wait, this was actually a dog that I met at Bark. He's still available for adoption. He's so cute. I met this one. This is Bun Bun. I fostered him for a couple days. His name is Duke. I know all the dogs. I just can't tell upside.
Do you know how many dogs you've fostered? Do you keep track?
I would say maybe somewhere in the 30 to 40 range.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm on number 3.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Again, we're going to get into kind of the nitty-gritty of all these things, but I do, because before I started fostering, I would see you kind of on your page be like, I'm taking a little bit of a break, getting off social media. So I do want to talk about, we're going to talk about the great parts about fostering and volunteering, but we're also going to talk about the sad parts.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the emotional toll of fostering, volunteering. Like, how are you protecting yourself in this?
That's a great question.
Do you?
I feel like I do a better job of setting boundaries with volunteering just because I know how time consuming it is. Like let's say I go to Bark on a Saturday and I meet 6 dogs. That's probably like 18 to 24 hours separately that I'm going to have to do on social media, finding fosters, making reels.
Let me stop you. So she's saying that if you go to Bark Shelter in Houston to go get footage of these dogs to hopefully save them, and you meet 6 dogs, that's what you have time for in the day.
6 to 10.
You're getting photos,
videos.
You're getting videos, and then potentially you're getting temp tests of that dog with other dogs, because a rescue is not going to
they want to know
tag
that
the dog. Tag the dog. Can you describe to me what tag means?
So with Bark, if a rescue is interested in taking financial and physical responsibility for the dog, they email Bark and they're like, hey, we want to send a tag in for this dog.
Okay.
And that just means that dog is property of the rescue now. The microchip is to that rescue. They are financially responsible for them and they're physically responsible for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'll say that to people and they're like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't know what it meant either.
Okay, so you do all this to hopefully get a rescue to tag a dog and or to share for the community that you've built online to potentially go in and foster and or adopt.
Yeah.
And that's about, for 6 dogs, that's about 18 to 24 hours of your time.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I try to get as much content as I can when I meet them. I'd rather have like quality than quantity instead of meeting like 20 dogs and just getting like 3 pictures of each, which everybody has their different ways of doing it. But I prefer to like spend more time with the dog so I can really get a gauge on their personality. So I can like confidently pitch them to rescues, because if I'm with them for like 3 minutes and I'm like, I don't know fuck all about that dog. Like it was cute and it knows how to sit, but that's it. But like if I spend 30 minutes with a dog, then I'm like, oh, it peed as soon as we got outside, so it's probably potty trained and it walked great on leash. Or we temp tested it with 3 different dogs, and with boys it did good and with girls it was weird. So I like to get as much information, and so spending that amount of time with the dog, I have a lot of footage, and then I have to make a reel. And then when I post the reel, answering comments, and sometimes they're not always nice. People are like, oh, you're a murderer. Or why did you go, to the shelter and put hats on that dog and just leave it there? Like, how could you leave that dog at the shelter? And I don't think people realize like how much time goes into this. And like, I have 3 dogs at my house. Like I don't have the bandwidth to do anything else,
Yeah.
So that, and then also like the pressure of getting them out, you know, like knowing that, like, I know it's not just on me, but it feels like it. Like
because
if I meet
you
a dog,
met a dog, it's your responsibility to get it saved.
For sure. For sure. And so there's not always a rescue that's interested, or there's not always, you know, like a foster that's interested. Sometimes you have one without the other. And that's like the worst. If a rescue's like, we want to save this dog, and there's no foster, and you're like, my hands are literally tied. Or if there's a foster, but the rescues are like, A, that dog's a liability, or it's going to be too expensive, or whatever. Like, it's just not always a right fit. So yeah, it's a very emotional, like knowing that this is on my shoulders, and that, you know, like I want to save this dog, and I don't know if I can save them all, which I obviously can't. But yeah, the more dogs I meet, the more time I spend, and the more of an emotional toll it takes on me. So, and a lot of people hit me up and they're like, hey, I found this dog. My sister adopted this dog and now doesn't want it. Like, people are always like, what do I do? What do I do? And so it's just a lot of pressure. And so sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I need to take some time off. But also, I am not like devoid of all the dogs my friends post. So like I'll see a dog and I'm like, fuck, can I foster? And like it stresses me out. Like even seeing like my other friends post, like if I don't have any dogs that bark that are in danger, it still stresses me out seeing dogs. And I'm like, I just need to take a break, you know, from both sides of things.
Right.
So yeah.
So that's good. So you've just implemented like, I will take a break. When
Yeah,
I
like just literally have to like delete my whole Instagram, because I'm like, I don't have the self-control to like not get on there. So I just delete the whole thing, and I'm like, I mean, I don't deactivate it. I just delete the app from my phone, and I just feel like so much lighter, and you know, it's nice. But I also understand the impact that I make. So that usually brings me back. Like, not to like toot my own horn, but I know that like sometimes a share that I share, or sometimes, you know, anything that I post can potentially help save a dog. And then I'm like, ugh.
No, I want to highlight on a couple of things that you said. One, about people reaching out to you, and two, oh my God, I lost it, but it'll come back to me. The impact that you have.
Yeah.
As you all know, I've talked about the Stray Sisters. One of my maintenance supervisors came over. He saw that I had dogs at any given point in time, multiple, and was like, hey, can you help? You know, I found these 2 dogs, blah, blah, blah. I didn't on purpose reach out to you, because I do feel like that is a weight that I've seen, you know, like that I've noticed, right?
Yeah.
And I've even started to notice it
Yeah.
for myself. People will reach out to me.
Yeah.
Colleagues, friends, acquaintances.
Yeah. There's just so many dogs.
It just becomes like, oh, you know what to do. And like I'm both flattered and overwhelmed by it. And it's a big weight that I already feel, and I'm just now getting started in this. But I specifically didn't ask you for help, but you were like, oh my gosh, you commented on it. And I was like, I'm stressed. And you said, and I was like, I'm picking up another foster. Like, I don't know what to do with these dogs. And I was like, I called Bark, but you know, it's not open intake.
Yeah.
And we'll get into why Bark is an open intake. They're a kill shelter. And you were like, you got to take them to Bark. It's the only answer. Like, they're mangy, they're sick, they need medical attention. They've been strays. They're obviously like famished, you know what I mean? Like the way that they ate the food. And so I was like, okay.
And they were like burned. Or they were red. They were really irritated. Their skin was inflamed.
Well,
that's what it
their
was.
Their
skin,
really oh my God, it was inflamed to the max. It was so sad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Their feet. It was so sad. And I knew that's what I was going to have to do. But and it's just like, even my friends who were like, oh my gosh, how can I help? You know, like, and I was like, there's nothing that anyone can do. I have to go to Bark. And so I went there, and you said that you'll have a better chance, since they're mangy and sick. They will probably take them, even though it's not an open intake day.
Yeah.
And they did give me pushback, but I felt bad, because I looked at the guy, because he was like, oh, we're not accepting.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with them? And I just picture like so many people are going through that line. I've seen the photos of that line on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Around the block.
Yeah.
Cars lined up to surrender dogs, or dogs that they found, strays, etc.
Or their own personal dogs, and they lie about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't have a choice, you know?
Right. Ugh. But he was just like, okay. And so he had me, you know, walk them into Bark Shelter, and I had never been. And it was the most awful thing.
It's very traumatic.
I ever did in my life. Yeah. And it was just cold and sterile, and throw them on the scale, and they put this blue.
Yeah. And then they're just like,
fake leash on them, take a photo. They put the flea drops on immediately. Okay, go get the next one. It was just really traumatic. And I feel for the people that do that out of
for sure
necessity as well. But but I called you wailing afterwards, which I felt guilty
I started
about.
Crying immediately too.
I felt guilty about because it's not your problem. And you were like, I'll help you. You know, like we'll get him saved. We'll get him saved. And it's like, that is such an emotional burden for you to carry too.
For sure. Like just like Sifo, I don't know if you knew about him. That was the dog that I was posting a lot. This follower was like, I found this dog. He's great, whatever. So anytime I help get a dog into bark, like I feel like it's like I have to get them out. Like I told you to bring them there. And if you don't, if I don't get them out, like you're going to be traumatized as fuck, like knowing that you brought those dogs there and they died. And I don't know how it feels to bring a dog to bark and it die, but I know how it feels to meet a dog and then for it to die. You know, so I don't ever want anybody else to feel that. So it is a pressure. Like Chip, same thing. Oh, one of my followers was like, hey, I found this dog. And like to this day, like I feel responsible for him. So yeah, it is a lot when people like hit me up, hey, like I got this dog and I'm like, bring it to bark. And then I'm like, fuck, now I have to like help get the dog out of bark. But like, I'm doing what I can.
You're doing what you can. And also to go to the second part of what I wanted to say is like the impact that you had. I can confidently say that if you hadn't worked with me and said like, tag me in the post and share, you know, I'll share and collaborate with me on the social media, I can confidently say those dogs would have been euthanized at bark. Like if it hadn't been for your reach, the rescue, a few different rescues ended up reaching out of interest and they were because of your network. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I am nobody. I am, like, I'm not saying that what you do is as a normie is invalid or is not going to be help at all, but I don't know that it would have been done in time.
For sure. Yeah.
So the impact that you have, and I know that that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. Yeah. But I mean, it's tricky. It's tricky, but I feel like I've gotten to the point where I can look at a dog and know whether it's going to make it out or not, you know? And like knowing that they were puppies, they were a little bigger. So it's tough to say whether they would have made it out, but people love mangy babies. I don't know what it is. I think it's just like a project. It's like an easy project because it's like you don't have to do anything. You just have to feed them better food. Sometimes you give them a medicated bath, but like mangy babies are easy. And then like the ROI is there because then you get to see their glow up and like all that stuff, you know? But yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I don't have a huge following, but there's definitely a lot of pressure and, you know, and I know the weight that like my page carries and the power that I do have. So whenever I don't have Instagram, I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, what if I would have shared a dog today and somebody would have seen it? Yeah. You know, but at the end of the day, I'm like, if I want to do this long term, like I just can't put all the dogs before myself all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't. Because if you're not at 100 or close to that, you're not going to be there.
I'm like, girl.
Been a while since you've been close to 100.
Yeah. I'm like, since Riley got to my house.
Oh my gosh. That should, we have so much to say. There's not going to be enough time. Riley is one of the dogs she's currently fostering who was a menace.
She's a menace to society. She's my little menace. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we're going to have time to get into her too much. Maybe we can.
No,
okay.
No.
We're going to play. As you all know, sometimes we talk about hard things on the pod, and the stigma around mental health is one of them. That's why I'm so happy to have BetterHelp Therapy as a sponsor. There's no shame in the therapy game. You don't need to have a serious clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety to go to therapy. You can just be a regular human with a regular humanish to figure out. Therapy can even just help you with everyday tools for everyday life. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and accessible. I know finding a therapist can be the most intimidating step of starting this journey, and the benefit of BetterHelp is that it's online, remote, and you get matched with a professional therapist within days. Use the link in the description of this episode or go to betterhelp.com/adultish. It's so easy, you will not regret it. Don't be scared. If you don't love the first therapist you're matched with, you can easily switch. That's one of the things I was worried about. When I tell my whole life story to one person, I have to switch to another one because I'm not really getting along. So this one, you don't have to worry about the network, the insurance, blah, blah, blah. So if you need an unbiased professional to vent to, or whether you have anxiety, PTSD, depression, or family issues, I think BetterHelp is a great place to start. Click the link in the episode description or go to betterhelp.com/adultish for 10% off your first month. Love you, whiners. We're going to play Wine Between the Lines, where one line can have two meanings.
Okay.
So what could you say during sex that you can also say at the animal shelter?
Did you just drool on me?
What's that smell?
Oh God, no. Why is your pocket rocket out? You know, the little red rocket.
Disgusting.
Lipstick.
I hate it so much.
So gross.
I didn't expect to get so wet.
Oh my gosh. Let me see what else.
Because when we did volunteer at the shelter, it was pouring rain, and also the dogs do just kind of pee everywhere.
Yeah. I'm thinking something about like getting dragged or pulled. Like, please don't
hurt me.
Yeah. If I agree to this, you're not going to hurt me, right? Me before I step in the kennel and the dog's like giving me side eye.
Please don't jump on me right now.
Yeah. Please don't. Yeah.
Please don't jump on me.
Please don't hump me. I'll hump you. I wouldn't say that to a dog or a person.
Or a person.
Or a person. I'm not humping people. Maybe I might. Who knows?
Maybe. Oh my God. Okay. Any other ones flashing to your before we wind down with some facts?
No, I can't think of it.
Actually, let's do Wine or Fine. We're going to do 2 segments back to back.
Okay.
So Wine or Fine is a segment. If you're into it, it's fine. If you're not into it, it's a wine.
Okay.
Okay. Sleeping in bed with your dogs. Wine or fine?
Sorry, is wine good or bad?
Wine is bad.
Whining. Bad. Okay. It's fine. I wish my dogs would all sleep in the bed with me, but they're like, we're good.
Really?
Yeah. Tiger only sleeps on his bed. Riley sleeps in her kennel, like the little animal that she is.
The menace.
No, but I keep her out there because I know Bo likes to intermittently get on the bed, and I don't want him to ever feel like he can't get on the bed because she's on the bed. But I would love if my dog slept on the bed with me. So fine.
Okay.
Sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, that's good. Dressing them up in Halloween costumes.
Oh my God, bitch. I have the cutest idea. I don't want to spill the beans, but I have the cutest idea. Absolutely fine.
Okay. Offline, I want to hear.
Yeah.
Foster failing, which, let me just say, the definition of foster failing is fostering a dog and then deciding that you actually are going to keep the dog.
Yeah. Well, I am guilty of this. You know, my Tiggy's foster fail. So
a time and a place.
For me, it's fine, but for you, it's not.
Why?
Because you're a great foster, and I can still foster even though I adopted Tiger. You know. But if you adopted another dog, you wouldn't foster.
Yes, I would. But after I would get the second dog trained, it would be a break.
Yeah. For sure.
100%.
No, I was talking to Kelsey about this. We can't lose Paige. She's so good.
Oh my God, you guys were co-conspirating behind my back?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do not devastate me.
No, I was just saying, we don't want to lose you as a foster.
No,
she was like, I feel really bad because I know this is really hard on Paige. I was like, I've been telling you this since day one. I was like, I know Paige. I know this is going to be really hard on her.
This is the day after I have given up my foster dog, who Purdy, if you follow me on Instagram, and also I've talked about her a million times. She eats poop, which is her only red flag. But yeah, this is a day after I gave her up for her transport, and so she is about to land in Pennsylvania any moment.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to be
probably 4 more hours.
She is going to be great and fine, but it is one of the hardest things that I've done, and I've been crying.
Sure.
So I'm
really
trying not to get too emotional about it. But
Yeah.
I did contemplate if I could keep her.
Yeah.
But I don't want 2 dogs right now because I want to keep fostering.
For sure.
But in the future,
sure.
If I do have 2 dogs, I will foster more, but it would just be a break.
Yeah.
Just for the record, Kelsey, who is bark about it, rescue, Kelsey and Bridget are the only 2 I know. I'm sure there's many more people behind this.
Kate is the other part of Kate is Kelsey's counterpart.
Okay. Well, shout out to them. They've been lovely to work with. Pedro is from Dizzy Dogs.
Yeah, Dizzy Dog Animal Rescue.
Which they were lovely because I did foster to adopt Pedro.
Yeah.
So I was fostering, but I did want an out if it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
And it worked out. And they were lovely.
So you foster failed. Even though you
I
planned
did,
to adopt.
But I planned to adopt.
Yeah,
so I don't really count that.
You just wanted like a fail safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wine or fine, letting your dogs lick your face.
That's fine by me.
It's a wine for me.
I know.
Yuck.
I know. I see your videos and I'm like, Pedro, you can come lick my whole face anytime. Just not my lips. I don't fuck with like getting my lips licked, but like the rest of my face, I'm like, get in here.
I don't like it.
I know.
I'm not saying I'll never.
I know.
It.
I feel like I see your videos and
tell.
you're like, don't fucking touch.
I tell him that to his face. I'm like, stop with the licking. You know, I don't like that.
Yeah. And he's like, Mom, but I love you. He's so cute. I love him.
Love him. What made you approach, because how you're saying like you kind of pick out the dogs that you think are going to make it or not, what made you approach Pedro at Bark Shelter?
When I feel like I started probably volunteering in January of 2024 or maybe December. But my type was always black and white pitties.
Okay. That's Pedro.
That's Pedro. And yeah, so I saw him, and I've told you this numerous times, but like he was in the back of the kennel, and at Bark, there's so many dogs. Like there's so many dogs, and they're all just like so happy to see you. So you feel really crappy just like walking by dogs and then not taking them out because you're like, I could potentially save your life, but I'm just going to continue walking past you. So it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And so sometimes I'll like go through intake pictures and I'll just look at the dog and I'll be like, oh, that one's cute, whatever. Or sometimes I'll just go to Bark and just like go off vibes. And I'm like, oh, that dog's, whatever. But Pedro was on my list. And I remember I walked up to his kennel and he was like in the back and he didn't show any interest in me. And I was like, and you have to be careful because like they're shelter dogs and you don't know like what kind of personality you're going to get. Like, sometimes it's like you approach them and they seem happy and then they like get weird. So if the dog doesn't show interest in me, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to push you to do anything you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. There's people that thrive on like scared dogs and they want to get in there and hang out with them. But I'm like, I don't have that much time. Like, you give me a wiggly body and we're good to go. Mm-hmm. If other than that, I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so he was at the back of his kennel and I was like, he's not really giving me like green flags that he wants to come out. So I was like, I'm going to go to the next one on my list. Anyway, so like towards the end of the day, I saw him at the front of his kennel and he was like kind of like wagging. He wasn't like super excited, but he was wagging enough to where I was like, okay, he seems like I could take him out. And then I took him out and he was super chill and I was like, oh my God, I love him. Like he was so cute and easy.
He is so cute and easy.
But I remember his temp tests were kind of questionable. But I think he was just excited. I think he was just really excited.
Super reactive. If anyone has listened to when I first got him, I was losing my mind. There was never a doubt in my mind that it was keeping him, but I was so stressed out. I was the person in the neighborhood causing a scene with their dog. Like it was all friendly, but it was friendly reactivity. He wanted to play with every dog, and one time he took me out of my sandals, like down the sidewalk. That's how strong he was. I mean, he's a short king, but he is strong.
He's a short king.
And I'm not into short kings.
I know.
I didn't know how short he was by his videos.
Yeah.
That did surprise me.
Yeah.
Don't love him any less, so.
Yeah. Yeah, he does look like he would be bigger, but he's still
big. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. Okay, now we're going to wind down with some facts. We're going to talk about sex toys on adultish wines, whether it's for solo play, partner play, gift for a friend. I mean, I can personally vouch for Adam and Eve. I bought a sex toy or 20. Adam and Eve is giving adultish listeners a spankin' deal. See what I did there? You get 50% off of one item, 3 special bonus gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping. And free discreet shipping, by the way. Go to adamandeve.com to get 50% off the one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping. That's ADULTISH at adamandeve.com. We're going to talk about some misconceptions. Maybe we'll clear up a couple of those words or definitions or anything if we didn't do that. The difference between a rescue and a shelter and why transporting out of state is beneficial. So we're wearing Bark About It rescue shirts right now, and they are a nonprofit rescue who is based out of Pennsylvania. They specifically work to take save dogs from the youth list in Houston and transport them out of Houston.
Yeah.
Why?
Why Bark About? Why does Bark About It do that?
Why do rescues do that? Why are we transporting out of state?
So there's a couple of reasons, but basically Houston is hot as fuck. I don't know if y'all know. Houston's hot as fuck. So that means dogs can procreate year round. And so that means if dogs are procreating year round, there's more litters.
Why? Because it's hot?
It's hot. Like, are you going to be outside fucking in 3-degree weather in Massachusetts in the winter?
No, but I'm also not out fucking in the hot weather. So
same. But dogs don't care. Dogs don't care.
Oh, because they're not going to freeze to death.
They're not going to
They are
freeze to
out
death
on the streets.
all year round. Because it's never, we freeze one night a year, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the weather is warm enough to procreate year round here. So we have a lot more litters. Whereas up north, the dogs aren't going to last through the winter. Like there's not really strays up there. They don't have that problem. So we have a plethora of dogs here in Houston, and rescues, and like they're good dogs. Like they're really good dogs. It's not like, like some people, see like that a dog's been sitting at a shelter for 2 years or things like that. Like they may have some behavioral stuff, but at Bark, it's like they've been there for 7 to 30 days. Like that's not long enough to have like long-term behavioral issues. And they're all like relatively in good shape. Like they all say stray, but like I would say 60% of the dogs that I see at Bark are like in decent shape.
Pedro did say stray, but he definitely came from somebody because did know
he's a little
sit.
thick ass.
Yeah. And he was not starved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
You can tell by their coat, their body shape, their nails. Like they're just general. And most of the dogs that come through Bark they're fine. I think a lot of dogs get dumped. So yeah, and they're it's like the creme de la creme, because most of them came from homes. They're in decent shape. Like they're turnkey dogs. They just need to get out of Houston.
Right.
So that's why rescues ship up north. So I'll talk about RPM, Rescued Pets Movement. They've saved like 100,000 dogs in like 15 years that they've been in business. And so they transport dogs to Colorado and Chicago. They pull dogs directly from Bark, and they work with rescue partners like all over Colorado and like that area, and they ship them every week. They send a van full of dogs and a van full of cats to Colorado just because,
and people are just going to adopt there. Like, It's just like, is it cool there? Like kind of vibe?
I think the difference is, I was reading up on this last night, and it talked about how education is different in northern states. People are educated more on like not supporting backyard breeding, and they're more they understand like it's a good thing to do to adopt dogs from shelters, like dogs in need. Mm-hmm. And they also understand that like it's a lifelong commitment. It's not just like blasé like it is here, Yeah. I think there's just a lot more education and like money that goes into those programs up north, whereas in the South, it's like we don't have any breeding laws. We don't have spay or neuter laws. We don't have the education. Like it's just a fucking shit show down here, basically.
Okay. And the difference between a rescue and a shelter?
Okay, so in Houston, it's different, but in the north, like let's say in Colorado, like some shelters are rescues. But in Houston, there's a couple that have like a facility, but most of the rescues that we work with are like nonprofit foster-based rescues, which means they don't have a facility. It's just fosters. Like if they want a dog to be saved from Bark, they literally can't save it unless the dog has somewhere to go. Like the directors of these rescues just live in regular houses, and they have their own dogs, and there's no place to put these dogs. Like people are like, why can't you save them all? We're like, well, where are we going to put them? Mm-hmm. And some like RPM has a facility, but they try and, clear it out so they can keep saving more dogs, But yeah, so a rescue is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit that basically runs on donations, and they save dogs and they get them adopted. And a shelter, for instance, Bark is an open intake municipal shelter. So they have to accept every single dog that comes through the doors. They cannot turn away any dogs. And that's the only shelter like that in Houston. And so that's why they have such high euthanasia numbers, because if you think about how many people are adopting dogs, like let's say on a random Tuesday, Bark could get 75 dogs in one day. 75 people are not going and adopting dogs. So that's why it's a high kill shelter, because they have such high intake. They have such high intake.
You have to make room for the next day of 75 dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the difference in a shelter and a rescue. And some people don't understand that like a shelter, like people are like, oh, they go to the shelter to die. And I'm like, well, you're thinking that it's a rescue. A shelter is just a place that's going to give them food, water, and medical care until their time is up, you know?
Wow.
And dogs, like, I feel like the longest I've ever seen a dog last at Bark is like maybe 40 days. But usually it's like,
And that's
30.
like an employee favorite or something, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. That dog has got to be perfect.
Why is there why is there a kill shelter versus why is there an open intake shelter? Why are some shelters not open intake? Why is there like, do you know the background of all this?
So I think it basically has to do with like funds. I don't think there's enough funding to care for all of these animals. Like I've read different numbers. Some say 120,000, some say 1 million. But if you think about it, like there's just not enough resources for all of these dogs. And so they go through Bark. Harris County Pets is another one, but they're not fully open intake. They can turn dogs away. What was your question before that?
Just like what, like, I guess the benefit or not benefit, but the difference between an open intake shelter and a regular shelter.
So some people are like, they a no-kill thing. No-kill is a thing.
Yeah.
Which a lot of influencers have talked about like how detrimental that is because no-kill just means they don't have to accept every animal. Whereas an open intake shelter has to accept every animal, that therefore they have to make tough decisions. But if it's a no-kill, somebody could be like, oh, my dog's leg is just like hanging and they're like, sorry, we don't want
We don't have room.
We don't want that dog. We don't have room for that dog. And so people are like, oh, no-kill shelters are the way to go. And I'm like, they get to choose. They get to choose what they want to deal with. They could just have doodles and be like, that's the only thing that gets adopted. So that's all we want, you know? So they have the ability to make those choices, whereas Bark has to accept every single dog, like ugly, dying, old, young, like they have to accept them all. And so that's why they have to make tough decisions, you know? And so people only want to support no kill because they don't kill, but that's so detrimental to the kill shelter animals because it's like they A, didn't choose to be there, and B, like the city has nowhere to put these dogs. Like there's nothing, they can't do anything with them.
Right.
You know?
Okay, let's talk about spay and neutering.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my friends was just talking about she needs to get her. Actually, it was a dog that I saw posted, and she is now the mom of it, of him. And she's like, "Did you know neutering your dog was like $700?" And I was like, "What?" So that's a misconception? That's not true.
I'm sure she didn't lie to you. There are regular vets that charge that much, but because of Houston's problem, there's so many low-cost spay and neuter clinics. You can get your dog neutered for like $120 or free. Empty Shelter Project is a quarterly initiative by Dr. Hannah, who runs Houston Spay and Neuter, and they go to like lower socioeconomic status areas, and they provide free spay and neuter, vaccine, microchips for all these dogs. And this is like every quarter. I go and volunteer every time. You should come with me next time. It's so fun.
It does look emotionally sad.
I mean, they're all owned.
Oh.
They're all owned dogs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
I can prepare for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes you do see dogs that you're like, damn, your owner's not taking care of you. Like some of them like flea infested, and then you're like, you're going home to like live in more fleas. But at the end of the day, you're like, at least they're taking care of them. They have the vaccines. They're getting spayed and neutered.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you have to separate.
Spaying and neutering is so important. It's so important to like help curb the overpopulation in Houston, and also for the dog's health. Like some people, you know, Bark spays and neuters, I think their limit is like 3 pounds. So sometimes you see some babies getting spayed and neutered. And like,
whoa.
I don't think that's healthy, but it's like with the problems in Houston, they just have to like take their chances. They have to be like, we would rather this dog get spayed or neutered like at a really young age than to let it out in the public and then procreate. Like, because like one dog can make so many other dogs, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, spaying and neutering is super important, especially like for the dog's health. Like females that don't get spayed, sometimes they end up with like pyometra, which is like, I don't even fucking know. It's like a busted uterus, a busted vagina.
Nobody wants that.
It's a whole bunch of stuff. And then they get like mammary cancer in their little nipples from like having dogs. And then males, you know, marking and aggression, all those things. But yeah, it's just really important. And a lot of people just like don't think about it. Like my dog, like Bo, I got him when he was like 7 and he wasn't neutered. And my mom was like, oh, we need to get him neutered. So I was like, he's 7, who cares? And she was like, no, I mean, they said he has to. And I was like, okay, whatever. And like now when I see balls on a dog, I'm like, God, you
clutching your pearls.
You brought your dog's balls here? Like,
you brought a baby to a bar?
Yeah. Oh my God.
No way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just feel like it's smarter and yeah, it's just healthier and it looks better. You know, like who wants those little peanuts? Just
I don't want that. Especially I'm a boy dog girl.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want their balls hanging around.
I wish I could get rid of the red rocket too. Like if I never had to see that thing again, I'd be so happy.
Same.
So gross.
Wait, so do some states have spay and neuter laws?
I feel like they do. I could be wrong though. But I feel like up north people just like know better. They're like
they just know better and do better.
It's the thing to do. They're always gentlemen up there.
Love that.
You like that callback?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, Spain. Okay. Because, okay, let's talk a little bit about the overpopulation of, I know that someone just said something kind of controversial about this, that overpopulation is a myth, and that is absolutely not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Houston is severely overpopulated. Just to throw some numbers out there, I understand I keep talking about BARC, but that's because that's our biggest municipal shelter and that's like the hub of like all the shit that's going on. So BARC probably puts 20 to 30 dogs per day on their euthanasia list and they euthanize 6 days a week. I would say probably 5 to 15 dogs get euthanized every single day just at BARC. And this problem is rampant throughout the South. Anywhere that's hot, it's a problem. Florida is fucked. Mm-hmm. California, fucked. So Alabama, all the Bible Belt, it's all Georgia. Any warm places, they're euthanizing dogs every single day. And people have no idea. And it's mostly pit bulls. So seeing people continuously breed pit bulls when there's so many in the shelter is just really frustrating. But I also get that a lot of people don't know better, so they don't do better. Mm-hmm. You know, like they don't understand that there's so many dogs getting euthanized and they have no clue that this is what's happening, like right under their noses. Like I had no idea. And when I saw like what was happening, I was like, what the fuck? And that's just one shelter. Like that's just one shelter. Right. Like I think more than 1 million dogs get euthanized per year, like in the United States. Yeah. And it's so crazy that people like still continue supporting breeders. Like I understand, like I said, some people don't know better, but like if you know better and you still just like don't care, like there's a lot of reasons people don't want a shelter dog. And I think a lot of it's misconception. Like they think it's a broken dog or they're like, I want a puppy or they want like a specific breed. But I think people really need to do research on, like I said, the temperament of a dog because it's like so many more people would have pitties if they understood the temperament of a dog. Like if you just want to fucking chill, get a pit bull.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's some cases. If you want
to live your best life,
yeah,
get a pit bull.
If
you want to feel loved every second of the day, get a pit bull.
There's some cases where like there's some hyper ones.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big umbrella of pitties. Like there's so many dogs that fall under that. But I feel like I wish people did more research on like understanding a breed before getting it instead of being like, oh, like, you know, like I want a doodle because I want a hypoallergenic dog. And they don't realize like that's a high energy dog. And a lot of times they're neurotic because they don't come from a good breeding situation. And it's like they have trauma compounded from when they were puppies.
Let's talk about that. You know, I mean, not that we're necessarily a fan of breeders, but there is a difference between ethical breeders and like backyard breeders, basically.
For sure. So I'd say like bloodline working dogs, you know, like your border collies or things like that, where it's like these dogs were bred for working. Like I understand the need to like keep certain bloodlines going and things like that, and like ethical breeding, and like these ethical breeders are doing like all the tests to make sure that the dogs are like not interbreeding, that they don't have any like weird diseases or things like that. And like any dog from a breeder, from an ethical breeder, would never end up in a shelter, because ethical breeders have it in their contract that say you will bring this dog back to me if anything ever happens. But backyard breeders are like, once the fucking dog is gone, you're on your own, you know? And they're also like Frenchies, for instance, like they're forcing a lot of them to procreate. And I don't know if you know this, but Frenchies have to get C-sections in order to have babies.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they get C-sections, and then a lot of people are just like kind of forcing them because of the way they look. And then they have like a lot of breathing issues. And so people are just, you know, it's a popular breed to have right now. And people don't understand, like they have a lot of skin allergies. They have breathing issues. Like anybody that has had a Frenchie will tell you it's literally a money pit because of all of their health issues. And a lot of that is because of backyard breeders not doing their due diligence to make sure that these dogs are healthy and that they're, you know, a good litter, I guess. But yeah, like I said, I mean, going to an ethical breeder is obviously ideal over a backyard breeder, like a Petland or a Craigslist or like I mean, obviously there could be some ethical breeders on Instagram, but I feel like in general in Houston, just do your research if you want to support a breeder.
Right.
You
and
know?
you can actually buy any kind of like full bred dog, like, or is that the right word to say, full bred? Like good purebred, thank you, on Pet Finder. Like that's a great resource, right?
You said buy. You meant adopt.
Adopt.
Different.
Yeah,
Pet Finder, you can literally you can find any kind of dog you want. You can find purebred Dobermans. You can find purebred border collies. There's all border collie rescues, a great rescue, and they have border collies, and they have like, you know, there's Australian Shepherd rescues, there's Doodle rescues, like
Rottweiler rescues.
There's so many breed specific rescues that you don't have to like go buy a dog. And like I get it, some people want puppies, but there's so many people that want puppies that have never had a dog before, and it's like that's
you don't want
crazy.
A puppy.
That's crazy. Like it's just not. Like, I feel like understanding the dog and like knowing what you're getting, as opposed to like a potentially traumatized puppy that came from a breeder that didn't come from a good situation, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, give shelter dogs a chance and give rescue dogs a chance. There's so many.
There's so many. One more thing that I want to touch on as far as misconceptions or facts is, or bring light to, is the heartworm prevention.
Yeah. So a lot of people... So in Houston and in the South specifically, like anywhere with a temperate climate and it's like humid, heartworms are rampant. And so the importance of having heartworm prevention, like giving your dogs heartworm prevention, especially in Texas, like if they're ever outside, you know, my dogs go outside in and out all day. Like it just takes one mosquito bite for a dog to get heartworm. And that mosquito implants, I don't think that's the right word, but like it transmits like whatever it transmits, like the little baby, I don't remember. Kelsey would know this. Kelsey. It transmits like the little babies, and then they just grow. And then like the heart is literally like their heart is full of worms. It's like literally looks like fucking spaghetti. It's disgusting. And then their hearts become enlarged, and then they just die. Like they suffocate and die because of it. And nobody knows how detrimental this disease is, and like how, like I understand it's costly. Like I personally give my dogs Pro Heart, and it's a shot once a year, and it's like $120. It's like not that bad. Or you can give them like just a little
Chews.
like Chews.
I give my Pedro Chews monthly.
Yeah, but I feel like those are like $30 a month, which I don't know. But it's super important to give your dogs heartworm prevention, because heartworm is fatal, and I don't think people realize like how fatal heartworm can be. Like, and it's a slow, painful death.
Ugh. Yeah. And also, dogs can survive heartworm though, like that, like Purdy, my foster that I just had.
Yeah, it takes like 5 years for them to like die from it, but it's like a slow, painful death.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because their heart just gets enlarged and they just like suffocate. They like suffocate like the fluid in their lungs.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
But for the dogs that do get their treatment,
yeah, no, they're fine.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so even if you find out that your dog has heartworms, like,
Yeah.
it can be treated
For
most
sure.
likely.
For sure. Yeah,
But that process, but also think about that process. Like, I just had to go through it.
It's
like,
so traumatic.
and she was an absolute gem, but like, she was
Yeah.
on crate rest. But like, the first 2 days of her having the shot, she
They
was
whine.
wailing out for
Yeah,
help. I mean,
it's
it was
so painful.
absolutely.
So they have to get into like their thickest muscle in their back. So like their biggest muscles on their back, and it's like a huge shot, and they just shoot it into, like I said, their biggest muscle. So it's so fucking painful for them. And I'm like, if people just understood, like, give your dogs prevention, like,
Just
you
wouldn't.
could prevent all of this. And so many dogs come into bark and they're heartworm positive, and rescues know that that's like an extra $800 cost. So sometimes they don't make it because it takes a longer time to foster. It takes more donation and funds for heartworm dogs. So yeah, it's just like more of a pain in the ass, and people are like, we don't want to foster that long. We don't want to spend that much money, you know? Yeah.
Oh my God. There's just still so much to learn too.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I talk about my dog or a foster dog, I'm like, I'm new to this community. I'm still learning.
No, you know so much.
Well, I did go to the shelter with you one day, to Bark Shelter, and that was traumatizing.
Yeah.
So that'll be my wine of the week. But you tell me your wine of the week, but also tell me if people can't foster, like if they can't physically foster a dog, what else can they do?
Yeah. I feel like sharing posts, because like it's so unfortunate that a lot of people don't share because they're like, I don't want to make other people sad or uncomfortable, like, or they just turn away from it because they're like, I don't want to see what's happening. And so they just like turn a blind eye, and it's really unfortunate because it's like one safe, like Pedro. I messaged Israel and I was like, hey, I know you have a big following. Can you please share this? And like, here we are.
Yeah.
You know, it literally just takes the right person to see the dog. So sharing is really important. All rescues run off donations. Like they literally only can save dogs if they have the money, you know? And like people, you know, bitch about adoption fees. And it's like an adoption fee is like $250, but that is supposed to include like a spayed or neutered dog, which can cost anywhere from $100 to $350. That includes the food that the dog has been being fed while it's being in foster. That includes going to the vet for anything. Most dogs that come out of bark have a upper respiratory infection, so they have to go for that. Then they have to go back to the vet to get a health certificate if they're going to transport. Like all of these things add up, and they end up spending probably $1,000 per dog. And then people are like,
and that's on the low end if nothing else crazy comes up.
Exactly. And then people get mad because the adoption fee is like $200 to $500. You know, it's like the rescue can only, you know, like I said, save as many dogs as they get, you know, funds for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people are just always bitching about adoption fee prices, which is crazy because they're not making any money. And everybody in rescue is volunteering their time. Everybody has a full-time job. So yeah.
Okay. So donating and sharing
is probably the best way to help, you know, with this crisis. And just, you know, also doing your part, like understanding that getting your dog fixed is preventing litters from happening, and also, you know, spreading awareness on fostering and, you know, getting shelter dogs and adopting and things like that. Yeah, I think, yeah, spreading awareness and also doing like your research, you know, like understanding this problem that's happening in your city. Like it's an endemic, and it's so unfortunate how little people care and how people think that we're crazy dog people just because we want dogs to live, you know?
Yeah. I don't have any of that, but maybe those are like the strangers and crazies on Instagram, but like everyone in my life so far has been just like, I'm loving watching this journey. Thank you so much for posting. Like,
I love that.
So that's like really, I'm happy that, you know, I made a separate Instagram to do more and post more. Yeah. But the fact that people came over to that Instagram because they were like, we want to continue watching. And also,
sweet.
But you know what I want to say is people say like, I could never foster. I will keep them all. And I hear that a lot. And I like that sentiment I agree. I didn't want to keep Poppy, but I did want to keep Perdita. But like, what do you say instead of a wine of the week? Actually, we're gonna. What can you say to somebody who says that? Like, I could never foster because I want to keep them all.
Fuck off. No, people say things like that and it's really hurtful. They're like, "Oh, like I could never do that because like I care too much." And I'm like, "Are you insinuating that I don't care cuz this is my fucking life?"
Okay.
Like people literally like it does hurt my feelings when people are like, "Oh, I would want to keep them all." I'm like, "I also want to keep them all." Like but I also know that like allowing this dog that I am obsessed with to go on to their life is allowing me like the space and bandwidth to save more dogs. Like, obviously like Riley is my foster and I've had her for 7 months and people probably think it's shitty. Like, oh, you're just gonna like adopt her out. And I'm like, I want to continue fostering. Like I bought my house with the notion that I wanted to foster dogs. And like, I cannot give up on that mission. Like that's my mission. I feel like that's like my purpose. That's my passion. And I don't want to just stop because like it's uncomfortable for me to let go. And I understand like having kids or having other dogs or having an apartment, like it's not always ideal, but like there's so many different rescues that you can foster for. Like I said, RPM, you can foster for 3 days. You can foster kittens, like you can foster full grown dogs, or you can reach out to me and I can meet dogs at the shelter and be like, this is going to be a good fit for you. Like I have a couple people that I'll be like, this one would be good for you. Like knowing their situations and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I get it. It's so hard. And I feel like seeing your stories the last couple of days, like seeing you upset, I was like, people are probably going to be like, I don't want to foster. Like it seems so sad. But also it's so gratifying. Like knowing that she would be dead. She literally would not exist had you not been crying today. Yeah. Like nobody would know the greatness that is Perdita because she would not have made it out had you not agreed to foster her.
Yeah.
And like, same with Miracle. I heard you're getting Miracle.
Yeah. But because I want to balance my mental health, I did tell myself like I have to take a break. I have a lot of stuff I have to do with the podcast. So it's like I want to make sure I can do this long term.
Yeah.
So in order to do that,
for sure,
I do have to take breaks.
Yeah. For sure. I get it. I wish I could take a break too. One day.
Okay, that was I'm glad you said that Taken It was actually a perfect little wine of the week because I guess I didn't realize that could be offensive to some
people say that shit all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I could never," or like, "I care too much."
But I don't think that they're saying it.
I know that, but it also is insinuating and implying that I don't.
Yeah, but it's good for them to hear that like, "Oh, that's how somebody could take that."
Yeah, for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, and like people being like, "Oh, you can't save them all." Like I understand, but like also saying that is not super helpful.
It's not helpful. Yeah, it's just not helpful. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thoughts, plugs, where to find you, where to support, etc.
Yeah. So I would say like anytime people want to like do something for me, I tell them like I don't want any of that. Like I want you to support rescues. Like there's so many different ways to support these rescues and there's so many good rescues. We can put them in the comments, but obviously Bark About It is, one of the rescues that I work very closely with and they're great. Pippi's Pals Rescue is another great rescue organization. But yeah, I mean, if you want to follow me, you can follow saving_HTX_shelter dogs. That's
because that's
Instagram.
Also a window to this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I post a lot of dogs that I meet at Bark. And yeah, I mean, fostering one of the dogs that I post would also be nice to help my mental health. But yeah, I think just following and supporting rescues and donating and sharing and to all of the other Youthless volunteers, like we're all very close and we all know how it's kind of like we've been in the trenches together. Like we've gone to war together. Like, because I can't just talk to my regular friends and be like, oh my God, this fucking dog that's on today's list, like this and this and this. Like they don't understand that. So it's really nice to have this community of people that understand that. And it's so nice. Like having such a supportive community, like my followers are so supportive of like me and the dogs that I post and my personal dogs and my foster dogs. And it's so nice to be part of something so beautiful. And I am so grateful to have met you through that. And and I feel like the biggest compliment is when people, you know, start either working with Bark about it, or they start fostering, or they say like, you inspired me to do this. Like there's nothing greater that makes me feel like I've done what I needed to do. And seeing like dogs that I post, like Pedro living his best life, like you advocated for him, you got him training, like you didn't give up on him. So many people in Houston just give up on dogs. So it's been so refreshing to meet like a kindred spirit in you, and, you know, have you as a friend, and for you to care so much about your dog, and for you to care about my dogs and me. You know, like there's no greater,
I'm getting that lump in the throat.
There's no greater compliment. I feel like as a dog mom, like having my friends care about my dogs is like, it's so beautiful to me. Like knowing that they would like be there for me, for my dogs, you know, like it's so nice.
Yeah. I mean, I echo everything you said, and I'm just like, I keep saying I'm new to the community, but it's just like been very welcoming. It's hard. It's emotionally hard, but I've just been very rewarded, and I I will continue to foster. And I keep saying like, I'm crying hysterically about my foster leaving, but I know that we were just one stop in her journey, and I'm so excited to help the next one, but it is still so heartbreaking. And like, I'm not going to lie about that feeling. Like you do have to be emotionally well,
for sure,
in some capacity to do this.
But also like just knowing the gratification of that you literally saved her life.
Yeah.
Is so, it's worth more than the heartbreak.
Oh, know? Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. But it is pretty traumatic putting them on the transport van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rough moment.
For sure.
I thought I did well though. This time.
For sure.
That's it, whiners. Like, reach out to me, reach out to Caitlin at Saving HTX Shelter Dogs, Bark About It Rescue. I've actually drafted now something to send people when they reach out if they find a dog. Like,
that's so smart.
Because like emotionally, I won't be able to help you, but here's how I can help you. You know? So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, because it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm just learning new stuff every day. So love you, whiners, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.